Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to work on something a little different. I am going to, I'm going to wire wrap some rubies into a pendant for my mom for Christmas. Her birthstone is the ruby. Now, I'm not sure how well this is going to work because, number one, the rubies are a little smaller than I'm used to working with, and there's actually two of them, a tiny one and a small one. And then I also have some little ruby rounds, and we'll see what we can do with this. So let's turn down and I'll show you what we got, and then I'll explain what we're going to do. Okay, this is the larger of the two rubies. As you can see, it's not really big. And usually the ones I wrap are a wee bit bigger. And then this is the other little ruby, which is going to go on top right here. And if I can get it to work the way I want to, I'm going to bring these little ones across in a wrap during doing the bail. So the first one we're going to need to work on, of course, is this one. So I have gotten 3 pieces of 9-inch 21 gauge square wire, which we're going to first hook together. And we're going to do that using one of these 2 pieces of 6-inch half round wire. I've got 2 half round at 6 inches and 1 10-inch. The 10-inch is for the bail part. This other 6-inch is going to go in between the 2 pieces here. So like I say, the first thing we want to do is gather up our square pieces, get them pretty well, get around, figure out around where your middle is, and then we're going to wrap the half round around it. So just this first few wraps is not the easiest ones to do, but once you've got those going, you can push them together and tighten them up. And try and keep your square wires all square. That one needs to go over there. And if you need to, get your pliers out. They're very helpful to have. So then we're just going to keep wrapping till we have a nice little base for our larger of our 2 rubies to sit on. Now, since this is a smaller ruby, that might be enough. I might put 1 or 2 more wraps in just to be on the safe side, but all in all, it's pretty good. Now, once you've got this done, decide what is your front and what is your back. You can squish these down some. See that one where the middle was? It's a little bit higher than the others, so we're going to try and squish that just a hair's breadth so we can get that back to where we want it. Now, once we decide which is front and which is back, doesn't really matter, they're pretty much the same. We want to cut our wire off in where the back side would be. So we'll just cut that, and then this, and now we're going to tuck our wires down. So here we go with our base piece. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start making a curve in this, because the ruby's got to sit right here in the curve. See here? So now we want to keep curving this until we get our wires where they'll fit around our ruby here. See, this is not round enough. We have to bring these in some more. So bring these down. And we just want to form it around our ruby like so. And then we're going to bring it up so that it comes together up here at the top. But before we bring it together, we're going to do something. I'm going to get out my pin twist, and we're going to twist the top 2 wires so that they have a nice little twisted pattern in them. And this is really simple to do. You just put your, decide which one, find your top one, put the wire into your pin twist like so, push this up, and then just twist it. See how that makes a nice pretty twist on there. And then when you get it to about where you want it, you can stop, pull it out, and do the other one. This does one of 2 things. Number 1, it's pretty, and it lets you know for sure which one is your top wire because that's the one you twisted. Okay, so there we go. Our wires are now twisted, the top 2, and now we're going to form the ruby into the base. Okay, now that we've got those twists put in there, we want to now form it into around the ruby better. So we'll put our ruby into here and just sort of squish her around. Come on, don't twist up with your other side. You want to bring her around here and bring her around here till we form a nice little bail for that to sit in. It's sort of teardroppy right now. And then when we get it towards the top here, we're going to decide where the top is and then bend our wires up like so. And we'll do that on both sides. See if we got that in about the right spot. Looks like that'll work. So now you can see this one side is more rounded than the other. We want them to be more the same, so let's just wiggle and play till we get them to both sides to look pretty much the same. Drop our ruby back in, see how it's looking. That looks pretty good. So what we want to do now is take our other 6-inch wire and we're going to wrap all of our wires together again. And in this way, we're going to make a new spot to trap our little one. So we'll just start wrapping. You want to get this pretty tight because you don't want it to come out. Okay. Okay. Just like so. One more wrap here, I think. Maybe even 2. We've got enough room. And then we're going to tuck this wire into the base right here where it comes together. Come on, baby, go up in there. Now we can squish this down a little bit. And I actually think I probably have this wrapped more than I want to, so I'm going to take a few wraps off of this side here. Okay. Now the next step is that we need to separate our wires back out into two groups again. Oop, that goes the other direction. That goes over here, and this one goes over here. Now we want to bend these out like so, because now what we need to do is form the little spot for this little guy here. And it doesn't need a very big spot, as you can see. So I'm going to just try and do it by hand, mainly. And now they all need to come back together again once I have enough room for the ruby in here. Okay, so now we need to form this little piece to see if it will fit into here. And I think that's going to work. Whoa! Flipping my ruby out. Okay, so it's going to slide right into there. And we will have to form around it, of course. But now we're going to take our big piece of wire and we're going to start by wrapping all of the wires for about 5 or 6 turns. I'm going to pull this tight because I want this to be pretty tight down here where my little ruby's going to sit at. So we don't want to give it too much space there. Okay. Like I say, 4 or 5 turns for our base here. And then we'll take our 2 front ones here on this side and bend them over here and do the same on the other side. Get the front one there and bend them over here. And the next thing we're going to do then is to keep wrapping this up, these 2 that are in the back 2, to form the bail piece. Now we want these to be pretty tight, and this is twisted. It's not the, you got to be careful because the wire will try and twist on you, and then you will have the flat side up instead of the rounded side. So I just wrap this tightly around here, about 1 inch worth. Now you see it's loosening up on me, so I'm going to tighten it with my thumbnail there. And it has turned again. I have got my flat side up. Unfortunately, it's sort of easy to get that for that to happen, so you got to watch it and be careful with it. And it's flat side again. Now, depending on how large of a bale you want, you could, if you want it just tiny, you could stop wherever you want to. I'm going to keep going a little bit further because I do want a big enough bell for my chain to slide through easily. So, and this was the 10-inch piece of wire that we're using here. You want this good and tight because as it twists around, it's going to try to gap on you, and it probably will no matter what you do. So I'm going to stop right there since I'm just about out of wire. We'll cut this off in the front. Now, you're going to say probably, why in the front? Well, that's because when we twist it around, we are going to bring this way. Now, to make this easier, I tend to take my bell making pliers to do this piece here. So take my bell making plier, and then we're just going to wrap it around till it meets right up here in the front, just like so, see? Now when we have this up here, we will take our wires and separate them, and they'll go either direction, like so. And then we're going to wrap that around the base. Just like that. And you could now cut these off, or you could make little spirals with them, whatever you want. When you do cut them off, which I'm going to wrap back one more time here, just so they're to the back. And then I am going to cut them off, and we're going to tuck them right into this gap right here, where the little ruby's going to go. So we need to pull those around, cut them off just a little bit right here. And then we're going to tuck these into this gap here. Now sometimes tucking is easier said than done, and I know this, so don't, if you have trebles, it's, you know, it's expected. So just pull them up and give them a bend and tuck them into place. Do the same with the other side. Tuck it in. Now I haven't quite got that tucked all the way in. I can feel a rough edge right there. So I'm gonna just push it in some more. And this is actually my wrapping wire sticking out right here. So we need to get that tucked in too. That's pretty good there. Now the next step before we do anything else is we're going to put our rubies inside our pendant here. So to do that, we're going to just plop it into place. And we're going to take our wires, separate them with our thumbnail a little bit. Get our pliers in here and give her a little twist so that she comes in like that, see? Now we'll plop our ruby into place, and we'll bring the back wires over the top. Come on, baby. Come on. Oops, got that one going the wrong direction here. Now this is the back, so it's not as critical, but I still don't like that, so we're gonna try and get it a little more straightened up. That one's higher than the other one is, so we're gonna try and fix that some. Okay, and now our bottom ruby is in place. Though it's a little looser than I want it, so I think I'm going to bring these and squish right here some, and then we'll see if we can slide this down into place some more. Bring our little wire up around here and around here, so it's at the edges. go. There's the bottom one. Now I'm going to wrap a couple more here since I went and moved that, because I think we'll need it a little tighter for this one. So what we're just going to do for this one is we're going to just bring the two back wires, just give them twists and bring them in. Oop, don't mean to do that. Mars your wire up. There we go. Now we'll just drop our little ruby into that little pocket I made. And then we bring our side ones up and over just a hairbreadth to hold it in. And you see it didn't hold it that way. I let it drop. Come on, little guy, go in there. Now I'm just going to pull this wire up enough that it's sitting on top of the little ruby so that it's holding it there, just like so. So there's our two little rubies in here. And the next thing we need to do is our embellishments with our wires. So to do that, we want to take these wires and we're going to make them come into a curve around the top, like so. Okay, that one I got. The upper one should be over here just a little bit more. You see it bent a little bit crooked there. I don't want a bow, I want a rounded spot. So I'll just do like that. There we go. Now, the thing I'm going to do, however, is I'm going to try and see if I can get a couple of these little rubies to go up and onto here. I'm not sure how well they're going to fit because these are only 3mm rubies and the hole is pretty small. We'll just try a couple till we see if we get any on here. If we can't, then we'll substitute something else, like maybe a small silver ball. I know for a fact that they won't go on the twisted. Because of the twists, it makes it be a little fatter. There we go. We got one of them up, starting up there. Go on, baby. Keep going. Now it may not want to go because of the twist, because it, like I said, it is a tiny little bead, and we're going to have to work it as best we can to go up to where we want it at. We got one in there. Let's see if we can get at least two. Yeah, it doesn't look like it wants to go the last bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work this one off. This is the one that works though. And I've got some little silver beads. If I can dig them out here. Got one right here. Sorry for shaking the camera. See if it'll go up on there. Yep, it will. So it'll go on here. Then our ruby. Right beside it. And then I'm going to dig out another little silver one, and we will put it on the other side before we wrap it down. So here's the next little silver one. Come on, baby. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is, just like I was doing before, we're going to bring it down and around like so to embellish the top here. But so that it doesn't slip down though, we're going to take, come on this wire, get out of my way, this wire and bring it right up here and around. And then this one can also come around, except I don't want it to come around that tightly. In fact, I may raise this to above these other ones and bring it down the side like so. Yeah, that'll work. So now when these come around, I'm going to tighten it up here. This one will come around down here at the base. So now if we want, we can put some little curly cues into these. I don't think this is going to curl too much because there just isn't enough wire to curl a lot, but that's all right. It'll sit right there. And then we'll do the same with this one, and it's going to sit over here. So there's our top. Now we have these other two wires here still to do something with. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring these down, and they're going to curl around right here. Come on, baby. Give myself a little loop there. There we go. And as they come around, I'm going to stabilize them here by wrapping one or two loops right here with this one. And then we're going to cut this one off and we're going to tuck it into right there. Now I was going to try and put another ruby or two right here, but I do not believe that these will go on here, but I thought I had one that went about halfway up. So if we can get it to go up here, get a couple more little silver balls out to decorate down here some. Okay, so I've got a couple more little silver balls out, and what we're going to do is try and do what we did up here down here. So we'll put the little ball on, then this ruby, if I can get it to go on good. Come on, baby, you started, you should go. Gonna take my bead reamer and ream out this bead just a little, see if I can ream it out just a little bit so that we can get it to go on the wire better. Hopefully. Now that we've got that around there, what we're going to do now is I am going to make a little spiral here at the end of this. All the way up to the beads. This is going to sit sideways like so. Then we'll bring this one back around. Actually, I want it on the outside of this one because this is our spiral holding here. And then we're going to little bit more so that sits right there nicely, and then we're going to spiral this one this spiral is going to sit right down here at the base of the, like so. Now we have to cut this last piece off and tuck it in. We're just going to tuck it right through. I think we'll just put it through, if I can push it through, and then we'll cut it as it comes through the other side. Right there. We'll just push it back into there. And there is our pendant finished. Now I just have to cut some chain and get a clasp, and we'll put this baby on its chain and she'll be done. I'm going to get 18 inches of chain out. There's 12. And 6 is right here. I don't want this to be very long. I don't want the chain, the length to overpower the pendant itself. So put these away, and we'll put the chain through the bell. And then we will need to put on, I'm thinking, a magnetic clasp. Okay, I've got a magnetic clasp and a couple of jump rings. So all we need to do is open up our jump rings, hook them to the chain, and hook them to the clasp, and our necklace is done. So it doesn't matter which way you grab first. Now, I'm using a magnetic clasp on this. You can use any kind of clasp. I like to use a magnetic clasp for my mother's things because she's 92 years old, and it's easier than having to try and maneuver things to just pull the magnet apart. Which this is a very strong little magnet, so easier said than done to pull it apart, but it can be done. And there we go. We are done with our little pendant. Now I would have much rather had a slightly larger ruby for this second one because it's sort of hidden in the wire there, but I think it turned out pretty good. So I hope you enjoyed making this with me. Let's see, we can push this back just a hair so it's not so prominently in the front. That also pushes our rubies forward a little bit here. And if you wanted this more rounded, you could do like I just did with my thumbnail. Just push it so it's rounder. Could be my imagination, but this side looks like it's a little bit more round than the other side. It's probably my imagination, though. But I like it. So anyway, here is our little ruby pendant we've been working on. Oops. A little bit different than my normal style, but I think it's turned out really quite pretty. I hope my mama likes it. So anyway, this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we have been working on wire wrapping this little ruby pendant. Hope you enjoyed making that with me. We'll talk to you later. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden. Bye-bye.